No niin, tervetuloa taas tällä kertaa ihan täysin uuteen peliin, eli me pelaamme tänään The Stanley Paraplea. Katsotaas. Eli tää on tällainen, mikäköhän tää genre nyt olisi, first person valkkeri, eli no joo, se on ehkä helpompi vaan näyttää tässä. Turhaa yrittää selittää liian monimutkaista, kun tän näkee ihan kohta. Mä en olettanut, että se olisi näin pitkät lataus, että en olisin olettanut kuvaamisen vasta lataamisen jälkeen. Mutta tosiaan tää on siis sellainen... niin no, se on hyvin vaikea selittää. Mä olen tätä jonkun muutaman minuutin kattonut jonkun Let's Playta aikana, mutta tää näytti niin hauskalta, niin mä ajattelin, että mä haluan tehdä itse tästä Let's Play, mutta se oli Steamissa, olikohan tää jotain -20 €, niin en mä viittinyt, mutta joku aika sitten tää oli, mä sain tän €2 alennuksesta, niin pitihän se sieltä sit ostaa. Ja varmaan moni on jo nähnyt jonkun muun Let's Playn tästä, mutta...
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Niin, eli me ollaan tosiaan Stanley ja no joo, meidän normaali työ on painella nappuloita, mutta nyt on näköjään mennyt jotain vähän vikaa. Mitä tossa kahvikupissa lukee? I hate Mondays.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Jaas. Tässä kävi sit näin, että mä en kerennyt edes tai huoneesta ulos. Ollaanko nyt samassa paikkaa? Mitä tässä nyt on tapahtunut? No, matkustetaan ulkomaailmaan. Mäkin haluan, mistäköhän tuollaisia työpaikkoja saa, missä tarvii vaan painella nappuloita.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tää on tosiaan näköjään vähän vaikeampi puhua tässä, kun koko ajan tulee selostus. Mä yritän olla puhumatta päälle, mutta siltä varalta, että mä nyt satun höpiseen jotain päälle, niin mä laitan noin tekstit päälle, tekstit näkyviin.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Onkohan tän työnä sit ollut pelkästään terottaa kyniä tossa terottimessa ja tästä on. Mulla on sit kaikilla Se näyttää Windows 3.1. Wow. Perinteinen kopiokone. Ei oo takapuolen kuvia sentään. No, matkustetaan eteenpäin. Eiks toi ihan sama maalaus, mikä siellä meidän huoneessakin on? Onks nää olevina ikkunoita vai valoja? Sinne ei pääsy. Siinä on lisää Windows 3.1. Mä unohdin, minne meidän piti mennä. Tai sanoa jotain. Waiting input. Voidaan painaa siihen jotain. Tää vähän... ei me voitu painaa kuin yksi vaan. Tää vähän oudot nää kontrollit. Tässä on kyyristyminen, mutta se ei oo hyppyä näköjään ollenkaan. Siinä on sama aiheet Mondays mukia. Siellä on näköjään vähän rakennusta. No siinä on erilainen touhu. Siellä on jotain. Tästä tulee ihan mieleen toi Half-Lifein alku.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Stanley ei tykkää vasemmasta, Stanley menee oikealle.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No, mennään sitten sinne. Ei täällä näköjään oikein muuta kaitsi mitä ottaa. Hiirestä tuo latausjohto irti, on niin vaikea liikutella. Se on sen verran paksu johto, niin se vaikeuttaa. Pitäis kyllä uusia nää mun hiiren jalat tästä. Näissä videoissa mä oon editoidessa huomaan selvästi, että kuuluu tää hankausääni, kun noin hiiren tassut on.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Mä haluan juomaan. Kylmää juomaa. $2.25 ei oo muuten kallista.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Aha. Stanley ei edelleenkään tykkää vasemmasta, Stanley menee suoraan.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie if you are lying right now, stop. Nyt me ollaan jossain varastossa ilmeisesti. Onks täällä parkouri? Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift $1,000. Penalty for jumping off cargo lift $5,000.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Kenestäkään toi mahtaa puhua. Tästä tulee niinku mieleen toi portaalin ja se keikisalain. Jotenkin tuntuu, että se ollaan nyt marssimassa kohti kuolemaa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To...
Mitäköhän nyt tapahtuu?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Oi, siinä on meidän kaunis vaimo.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Vähän kulmikas. 7 pitäisi painaa.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Me aletaan vähitellen muuttaa meidän asuntoa takaisin meidän aloitushuoneeksi. No, oota. Miks mä painan oota? No, se on 0.
And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
Jahas. Kuoltiinko me nyt? Alusta.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Mulla Montakohan eri reittiä tässä mahtaa olla?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire
Mä haluan
it.
kokeilla hypätä sieltä hissistä pois
Wow.
seuraavaksi.
Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Stanley ei tykkää oikeasti.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Joo, ei saa onkin. Tää on kyllä ihan hyvä tää selostaja, että se saa niinku reagoida melkein kaikkeen mitä me tehdään. Mitäs täältä löytyy? Joku aidan pätkä. Ei aukea mikään ole. No, jatketaan käytävässä juoksua.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Stanley ei tykkää vasemmasta.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Stanley ei tykkää vasemmasta.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
No, ei ole vasenta ovea, niin mennään siitä.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Stanley ei tykkää vasemmasta. Stanley ei mene vasempaan oveen. Sen takia Stanley kääntyy ympäri ja menee oikealle olevalle oveen. Taas uusi leveli.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going?
Stanley ei tykkää planetaarioista.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment.
No, mennään
Now,
takaisin.
can we please get back to the other room?
Tulee ihan Star Trek mieleen tästä.
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
Stanley ei tykkää seisoo paikalla.
Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this. No. No. What do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Lopeta suosittelemassa sitä hemmetin vasenta ovea koko ajan.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you? No, perhaps not.
Ees taas. Vaikka on monta
My
kertaa
God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me? I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.